they're admitting, hey, we suck, and we released a shitty movie, and it was our fault, and now we're trying to, make up for lost time or some shit like that. They're not going to admit that shit, that they just sucked at making decisions. Because if you listen to Ayer, he's saying that he's saying, no, you fucked this up, with your stupid notes, and we get the hashtag. Release the I was almost going to say the Snyder Cut. Release the Ayer cut. Now what that's in reference to is so we have David Ayer, who released the or who made the first Suicide Squad movie, right? And it was famously panned because it's a god awful movie, right? The the reason why it's terrible, according to Ayer, is that he shot a movie and then the studio basically was like, yeah, let's just cut all that shit out, and let's just put in all this other shit that makes no sense. When you watch the movie, it's hard to argue with them because it feels like that's exactly what the fuck happened. It feels like there was a movie there and then somebody was like, man, fuck that shit. And then just added in a whole bunch of other shit that doesn't really make sense or like correlate or jive with the movie itself. Obviously, it's hard to tell like how much of it was him and how much of it was the studio's meddling. But given the success of Zack Snyder's Justice League that was just released on HBO Max, that's gotten some people, look, hey, what's up with that Ayer cut? I'll read you a bit of what he says about this. He says, I get it. It's a business. It's frustrating because I made a really heartfelt drama and it got ripped to pieces and they tried to turn it into Deadpool, which it just wasn't supposed to be. And then you take the hit. You're the captain of the ship. Your name is on it. Even though it didn't represent what I actually made, I would take all the bullets and be a good soldier. I made an amazing movie. It's an amazing movie. It just scared the shit out of the executives. So that's directly from the director's mouth in regards to the movie. And so, yeah, let's adjudicate this here, right?
Like in terms, so like the question here, let me get ahead of you for a second.
Sure.
Is the question, should, in situations like this, like should the director be able to go back and like remake or re-release the original film that they made in the case where a film like the original Suicide Squad did not do too well and like the fans are asking for it? Is that what you're gonna ask?
Yeah. And putting out a director's cut of a movie isn't clearly like unheard of, but I think the problem becomes like it actually would be probably easier with the Ayer cut, because the whole issue with the Snyder cut was the movie wasn't really done like at all. Like it was like they were piecing it together when Zack Snyder left the project, and then a whole bunch of other scenes that weren't shot were shot that replaced his stuff, and so he had to go back and actually finish up all that the visual effects. He had to, I think, shoot some additional scenes on the back end of it after they kind of greenlit the whole Snyder cut. So it's a different scenario because I think they actually do have a lot of the shit, for the Ayer cut. Maybe they have some visual effects stuff, obviously that perhaps wasn't completed, but is there a fan push for it like the Snyder cut? Absolutely not. Everybody thought it was that bad. They're like, you know what? We're good. It's fine. You don't need to see this. I'm sure some of his fans are out there saying, yeah, like let's see this shit. Honestly, and I would love to see what he would, because it seemed like knowing David Ayer's work. Now I will say this is the same David Ayer that made what's the movie with Shia LaBeouf, damn, he came out with it recently. Hold on, I can find it here in a sec.
Bone Collector, or the tax collector?
The tax collector. That's exactly it. David Ayer did make that movie. So that wasn't great. That wasn't great.
I didn't think that movie was particularly bad. I just thought it was like not what was advertised. You know, it was very.
Wait. I'm stunned right now. Look. Fair enough. Look, I'm trying to get into the habit of respecting people's opinions about
Yeah.
movies because it's art, right? It's art,
Yeah.
so it's all
So I
subjective.
mean, listen, I didn't think the
Holy
movie was
shit!
that bad. It
Terrible
wasn't.
movie in my humble opinion.
Well, I think you kind of sometimes have like you hold like all movies up to this extremely high standard, which not
No,
all movies are. Yeah,
nah,
no, listen,
not
this in no way.
just a
I'm sorry.
regular standard of being
This
able to
wasn't.
tell a coherent story.
This
Just
wasn't A Beautiful Mind. It wasn't, Gone with the Wind. It wasn't When Harry Met Sally.
who the
Like
fuck's
it
talking
wasn't supposed
about
to be.
Gone with the Wind? That racist
I'm
ass
talking
movie.
about like classic movies that people for some reason love, and
No.
it
Okay, all
was
right, whatever.
the Tax
Continue with your
Collector
point.
wasn't
Continue with
supposed
your
to be
point.
that.
Continue with your
My
point.
point is, it wasn't supposed to be that like those films. It was supposed to be just like a drug
I'm not
shoot 'em
talking.
up
All right,
gangbanger
I'm not
movie,
talking
and it
about
was
the
good.
tax collector.
The
Just
problem with the movie was it just wasn't. uh like we expected to get like a more of Shia LaBeouf and his character,
no.
right? And
Forget
we
the
like got
tax
like 5
collector.
minutes of
Let's
it.
talk about the Ayer.
No, what I'm saying here, the
Yeah.
reason why I'm talking about the Tax Collector is because I like that movie, and I think what David Ayers did with the first Suicide Squad movie, unfortunately, he didn't get to tell the story that he wanted to tell in the way that he wanted to tell it. What's what separates this situation from Zack Snyder situation with the Snyder Cut is he did get to finish the project. Unfortunately, the movie was cut a bit differently in the end than what he wanted. Zack Snyder didn't get to finish his project, so he was able to finish telling the story, which ultimately his version of the final story was better than what we got the first time.
Yeah.
Now, Suicide Squad has another film coming out August 6th. So is there an appetite for let them like take these next few months or whatever to create to redo what is it Ayer's cut of the original Suicide Squad movie and then watch the Suicide Squad, the second one? I don't think there's much of an appetite for it. I think the only reason we're having this conversation is because of the Snyder cut, but no one really cares to see this thing through.
Yeah, and you have to also throw on top of that that so the issue with the first Justice League was that another director came in and finished a film, right? So basically all the entire blame of why the movie sucked was placed at squarely on the shoulders of Joss Whedon, right? The studio is like, man, we have anything to do with that shit. That was Joss Whedon. He fucked it up, right?
Yeah.
Which is why everybody could stomach there being, or the studio could stomach there being this push and submitting to like, okay, like let's just do this Snyder cut, right? Because they can absolve themselves from it. With the Suicide Squad, Ayer, he shot the movie through and through, right? So if they go back and all right, let's go finish this up and like let's release the Ayer cut, they're admitting, hey, we suck and we released a shitty movie and it was our fault, and now we're trying to make up for lost time or some shit like that. They're not going to admit that shit that they just sucked at making decisions, because if you listen to Ayer, he's saying that he's saying, no, you fucked this up with your stupid notes, and the stupid movie you wanted to put out, you wanted to make it into Deadpool as he talked about. Yeah. So I don't see that happening, dude. I don't see them admitting that they suck at making movies and giving him money to finish this project up.
Yeah.
Don't see it happening.
Definitely not with the Suicide Squad coming out on August 6th.
Yeah.
It just kind of wouldn't make sense to backtrack when you have another film coming out on August 6th. You may as well just say, you know what, some people liked it, some people